Yes, coming right up. Sorry, that was my mom talking to me about taking my twin sisters. Sorry. Sorry, that was my mom talking to me that my twin sister's puppy, named Monty, who's 4, who's a corgi, needs to go for a walk. But Monty is still growling, but let's keep on the video. Basically, I want to tell you something. When I was in high school at age 15, I have, when I was 15 years old, in July 2013, when I was turning 16 on the 24th of September 2013, I bought the first 4 Mission Impossible movies on Blu-ray in 2K Full HD. And originally, I wanted to only like and see the first Mission Impossible movie when I was in high school and not like its sequels at age 15. In the summer of 2013, when I was 15, I would only like the first Mission Impossible movie and not its sequels. But I ended up buying the first 4 Mission Impossible movies on 2K Full HD Blu-ray. The first 4 movies, including the latest Mission Impossible movie, Ghost Protocol. Ghost Protocol that came out 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. So I watched all 4 Mission Impossible movies on Blu-ray on my high definition full HD TV, and I liked it a lot. When I was a teenager at age 15, 16 or 17, before I was 18 as an adult, I saw all 4 Mission Impossible movies and I liked it a lot. And I ended up seeing Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol in theaters 20 minutes from my house at the AMC Theater in Woodland Hills. So it wasn't a first run release of the movie, it was a re-release in 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 order to be anticipated for the new Mission Impossible movie, Rogue Nation. I went with my former friend to see Mission Impossible when I was 17, turning 18 on September 24th, 2015. In late July 2015, me and one of my good friends who I don't see anymore went to see Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the re-release, at a nearby movie theater in Woodland Hills. And we had a blast seeing it there. I really enjoyed it. And then I saw Mission Impossible Rogue Nation in IMAX before I was 18, when I was almost. And on in early August 2015, I went to see Mission Impossible Rogue Nation in IMAX, and I wasn't blown away by the picture or sound quality because it was 2K Full HD standard dynamic range picture on a gigantic, enormous, tallest screen paired with paired with 6 channel channel based, non-object based, but only channel based traditional standard surround sound. That wasn't a, but I really but I was still hugely blown away by the movie, seeing Mission Impossible Rogue Nation in IMAX. I was blown away seeing the movie theaters, and I was blown away seeing the Mission Impossible movie Rogue Nation in IMAX, and I really liked it a lot. I went to see Mission Impossible Fallout in theaters with my cousin from Arizona at the AM in 20 to 30 minutes from my house in West Hills, and we had a lot of fun seeing it, and I really enjoyed it and liked Mission Impossible Fallout. And then 5 years later, on August 1st, 2023, after I got off of work, working as a grocery store courtesy clerk, pushing carts in the morning, me and one of my parents' very good friends went to see me and one of my parents' very good friends went to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 at Universal Cinema and AMC Theater at City Walk Hollywood that has 4K UHD laser projectors with very high dynamic range, great colors, contrast, clarity, colors, black levels, detailed clarity, and a very good picture quality, good brightness. And it's not a Dolby Vision 4K HDR projector, just standard 4K HDR laser projectors, not Dolby Vision. And it did, and the theater where I saw Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, the theater where I saw Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 does have Dolby Atmos. And I saw Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 for the first time in theaters in Dolby Atmos paired with 4K laser projectors with great dynamic range with one of my parents' very good friends. It was on August 1st, 2023. And my me and one of my parents' very good friends went to see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One at Universal Cinema AMC Cinemark Hollywood, which is around 15 to 20 minutes from my house, and it had Dolby Atmos. It had speakers on the ceiling. There's a lot of speakers on the ceiling, the sides, the front, the back, and it was a big improvement. Seeing Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 in Dolby Atmos and 4K UHD HDR laser projector at the Universal Cinema AMC Cinemark Hollywood is a big improvement over seeing the previous Mission Impossible movies in digital projector and digital projectors and digital surrounds at an IMAX, that's standard IMAX. But we had a lot of fun seeing Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 in Universal Studios with Dolby Atmos and 4K laser projectors. Me and one of my on August 1st, 2023, me and one of my parents' very good friends went to see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One in Dolby Atmos and 4K laser projectors, and we had so much fun seeing that movie there. The colors were so outstanding when I saw it in theaters. The contrast and black levels are so good when the previews are over, and I could hear a lot of sound objects flying in 3D space. I can hear speakers flying from the ceiling, the sides, the front, the back, and beyond. I can see speakers on the ceiling watching the movie. Then, most recently, early this year, on Memorial Day 2025, me, one of my parents' good friends, no, I said it wrong. Early this year, in Memorial Day, coming right up. Sorry, that's my mom. Early this year, on Memorial Day, early this year, on Memorial Day 2025, me, one of my good friends, and my mom went to see the new Mission Impossible movie, The Final Reckoning, in Dolby Cinema. It had 4K HDR, Dolby Vision, laser projectors on a big screen, and Dolby Atmos. And seeing Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision 4K HDR with laser projectors in was the first Mission Impossible movie I saw at a Dolby Cinema that has 4K UHD HDR laser projectors with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos in 3D object-based spatial multi-dimensional immersive moving surround sound. And I went to see Mission Impossible that I went to see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning with one of my good friends and my mom at, at at a theater that's 20 minutes from my house, and it was in Dolby Cinema. It had a lot of speakers in the ceilings, the sides, the back, and the front, paired with a 4K UHD HDR laser Dolby Vision laser projector on a gigantic screen. And I saw basically Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning wasn't the first Mission Impossible movie I saw at a Dolby Atmos movie theater, but the first Mission Impossible movie I saw at a Dolby Atmos movie theater paired with 4K UHD HDR laser projectors is the one at City Walk, Universal Studios AMC Theaters. It was Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. And that movie was a big improvement over seeing other Mission Impossible movies in theaters because it has Dolby Atmos with speakers in the ceiling and 4K UHD HDR laser projectors. And I went to see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I went to see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning with me, one of my good friends, and my mom in Dolby Cinema at a theater 20 minutes from my house. And it had speakers on the ceiling. There's a lot of speakers on the ceiling, the sides, the front, the back, and it has 4K UHD HDR laser projectors with Dolby Vision, and it was so outstanding. And I love Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, even though Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning got very positive reviews. Got an 80% rating by Rotten Tomatoes from critics, and an above 80% rating by audiences on Rotten Tomatoes, and above 61 and a slightly above 61% rating on Metacritic, and a 3 point. I mean Mission. I mean also Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning got an above 61% rating by critics on Metacritic, and it got a 3.5 out of 5 stars from audiences on Letterboxd, a social media website where people review movies after they see movies. Who are big movie fans and audiences, they review movies after seeing it. What they it scales on a 0 to 5 stars. Anything below a 3 stars is not good. Anything at 3.1 and above stars out of 5 stars is good. Even though some people say Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is the worst Mission Impossible movie in the franchise, and some people say Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is the worst Mission Impossible movie in the franchise, and some people say Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is not a good movie or is a terrible movie. That could be some that that that's not true because Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning got very good reviews from critics and audiences, paired with a few criticisms. I heard Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning got very positive but subdued reviews, meaning that it got very good reviews paired with a few criticisms. Like, not every movie or TV show or book, comic book, game, or song is going to be 100% perfect. There's always going to be some criticisms, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a good or bad movie. Next, movie, TV show, let start over. Not every movie, TV show, book, comic book, song, or game is going to be 100% good and perfect. Is that there's always going to have some criticisms, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a bad one, mixed one, or a good one. It could be good paired with a few criticisms. But let's get back to Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible movies, all 8 movies. There are 8 of my top. The Mission Impossible movies are 8 of my all-time top most Desert Island favorite movies. I love Mission Impossible movies. They're so fun and entertaining. I love the main lead actor in all 8 Mission Impossible movies, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the standout feature of the franchise. Not only Tom Cruise produces Mission Impossible films in all 8 movies, but he is the lead main star. And Tom Cruise basically Tom Cruise is such an amazing, powerful, fun action movie star. Tom Cruise's very first movie that made him an action star was Top Gun, and Top Gun, as well as the sequel Top Gun Maverick, are also 2 of my most all-time favorite top desert island favorite movies. And I love Top Gun. And The Last Samurai is another action adventure movie, and it's also one of my top most desert island favorite movies. And I love The Last Samurai. It's so amazing. I saw Collateral with Tom Cruise, and that's also very good. That was his first action movie villain. Collateral was a big departure from Tom Cruise's own action movie hero roles into a more action movie villain role. I love Collateral. I like it. Really good movie. Collateral was Tom Cruise's very first action movie thriller. I mean, Collateral was Tom Cruise's first action movie where he plays the main villain rather than the hero. And American Made is another very good action adventure movie, but it's also a crime comedy suspense thriller. I would say American Made is an action adventure crime comedy suspense thriller loosely based on a true story, and it features some of the best action scenes ever put in action cinema, where Tom Cruise does his own stunts. And if there were if there were good, I'm some. I'm start over. If there were mixed to bad action movies that Tom Cruise starred in the action adventure genre, it would be the Jack Reacher movies, The Mummy, and even Night and Day. Well, Jack Reacher films, I found it to be mixed and not good because of the casting of Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher. I mean, the casting of Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher wasn't that good. I found it to be mediocre and okay. Even though some people say it's good, I didn't like it. But Mission Impossible is better. The Mission Impossible movies are so fun and entertaining. I love the stories where the main IMF agent Ethan Hunt has to team up with his IMF agents who have to stop terrorists and criminals who attempting to destroy the whole world and humanity, causing global domination. And Ethan Hunt and his team, who are IMF secret agents, have to stop a team of criminals or terrorists bent on destroying the whole world and humanity. It's a really fun, amazing, interesting, appealing plot for an action movie franchise. It's so fun and entertaining. In I would say the first Mission Impossible movie, it's the only film in the franchise in which Ethan Hunt can't save the world. But he has to save the agents, and retrieving a knock disc. If it probably falls into possibly if it falls into the wrong hands, the agents will get killed. I'm not sure if the plot of that movie is correct, but Ethan Hunt does have to save the agents to retrieve the Nautilus disc in the first Mission Impossible movie. It's a really good, very good movie. One of my all-time favorite movies. The first Mission Impossible is beautifully directed by Brian De Palma. It's got very good stunt action scenes, and I love the final action scene of the first Mission Impossible movie, paired with blue screen CGI compositing. It's so well made, and I love the part where Tom Cruise leaps from a helicopter inside a tunnel to a train with with exploding helicopter. It's such a cool, immersive, fun, entertaining, iconic. It's so epic. And Mission Impossible 2 is the first Mission Impossible movie where Ethan has to save the world and humanity from a bad person who's a terrorist. And I love John Woo. He's the man who directed Mission Impossible 2. It has really cool action scenes, even though Mission Impossible 2 didn't get good reviews from critics and possibly audiences. It defines what makes the series so amazing. Mission Impossible 2 is so well made. It's so well shot. I love the soundtrack to Mission Impossible 2. One of my two favorite songs of all time is "I Disappear" by Metallica, a loud rock and roll heavy metal song. I'm so over. Two of my favorite songs, especially from the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, especially when I love listening to them when I work out, is the song "I Disappear" by Metallica, which is a loud rock and roll metal song by Metallica. And "Take a Look Around," theme from Mission Impossible 2, another loud rock and roll metal song by Limp Bizkit. I love these two songs while working out, doing a lot of cardio weightlifting. And Mission Impossible 3 is the film where, even though Mission Impossible 3 got some good reviews, sometimes it got mixed reviews. Mission Impossible 3 is a good movie, but Mission Impossible 3 is the film where the action scenes have good camera work, but at times it can get shaky like this. The action scenes in Mission Impossible 3 can be pretty shaky, but it's and edit really, really fast. But it's not as bad as Olivia Megaton's action movies. And Olivier Megaton makes some of the worst film action scenes in action movie history. Made he's ruined two action film franchises, such as The Transporter and Taken, and he made terrible action movies filmed with bad shaky cam work. Olivier Megaton makes very bad action movies with bad shaky cam work and bad action scenes, and he doesn't know how to film action scenes because he goes like this. Well, this is why Taken 3 is so effing awful. I used to love Taken 3 when it came out in theaters, and even as a young adult, but I hated it so much. I used to like Taken 2 a lot when I was an adult, but I stopped liking it because the action scenes are so bad. They shake a lot like that. But I used to like Transporter 3, but not anymore because it's so terrible. I would not want to see the fourth Transporter movie because it's so bad. The first two Transporter movies and the first Taken movie are so good. Even Taken, the first film in the series, was filmed with shaky hand, but it's done with artistic, beautiful skill. But Mission Impossible 3 is a different story. And I hate Colombiana. That had some of the worst filmed action scenes ever put to action cinema. And it's so poorly shot, poorly filmed. You can't tell what's going on. But Mission Impossible, well, Colombiana is a terrible action movie. That's not the case with Mission Impossible 3. It most, if not all, the action scenes in Mission Impossible 3 were heavily filmed with shaky cam and quick cut editing. But that doesn't mean it's not good. It's still good, but it's just good. Some people say the action scenes in Mission Impossible 3 are more horrendous than films of the franchise because of the camera work. And Mission Impossible 3 was J.J. Abrams' very first film he directed. Because before Mission Impossible 3, J.J. Abrams produced and directed a lot of TV shows. But he did produce a lot of movies and wrote a lot of movies before Mission Impossible 3. But he was primarily a TV director. And Mission Impossible 3 made him a movie director. And Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is the film that was so amazing. I love Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. It's super amazing. I love the director who directed one of my most all-time favorite movies when I was a kid younger than 11, The Incredibles. He directed 2 episodes of The Simpsons, and he directed another film that I used to like when I was 9 and 10 called Ratatouille. And I like Brad Bird. And I love Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. It had some of the best film action scenes ever made. The action scenes are well shot and choreographed. I love the musical score. Even the Christopher McQuarrie Mission Impossible movies from Rogue Nation to Final Reckoning, they're super amazing. They had some of the best film action scenes ever put to action cinema. Tom Cruise, who starred in Mission Impossible in all 8 movies, can do all his own stunts in his action movies. It's so immersive, it's so amazing, it's so enjoyable, it's so exciting and immersive. It's so cool. Like Mission Impossible is so timeless and very high quality. They're timeless classics that it's gonna last you a very long time. Mission Impossible is one of those action film series and one of those film series where it's gonna resonate deeply with me throughout my whole life. It's gonna interest me so much. It's gonna have a very significant interest on me. The action scenes are so amazing, the camera work, the lighting is so amazing. The Mission Impossible movies had great musical score, sound design. It's got great acting and performances from Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames. Even the executions are so cool. I love the story. Mission Impossible has some of the best stories ever put to action movie cinema about a team of secret agents who have to stop villains from destroying the whole world of humanity, have to save lives and save the world. It's more fun and immersive. It's way more fun and immersive, entertaining and interesting and enjoyable and good compared to other disaster end of the world movies where like The Day After Tomorrow, Greenland 2012, or even Contagion where the whole world is coming to an end and millions or billions of people are dying. A lot of countries are getting destroyed, whether it's from a and 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 a lot of people are dying. Many cities are getting destroyed, and many countries, continents are getting destroyed. The whole world's coming to an end and dying. Whether it's from a weather-related natural disasters, extreme natural disasters, a meteor impact, or a global pandemic. Those movies, I really don't like these movies. They're very sad, they're very dark, they're very harrowing, they're very disturbing, they're very depressing. They're very traumatizing and they're not fun to watch. They're very sad, they're very depressing, and they're very disturbing. And I don't like these movies like that. I like movies, especially action, adventure, sci-fi, fantasy, superhero, and thrillers where good people try to stop bad people from destroying the world of humanity, and they have to save the world and save people. That's why Mission Impossible is such a great action film franchise. It's way basically what I love about the Mission Impossible movie series starring Tom Cruise is that mo- many films, many of the Mission Impossible movies don't use a lot of CGI. It uses a lot of practical effects, no blue screen technology. Mission Impossible films on all the action scenes, they don't use tons of blue screen, CGI, stunt double. It's just plain old school, realistic, practical action. Mission Impossible is some of the most highly amazing, powerful. It's so amazing. I'm a huge diehard Mission Impossible fan. Mission Impossible is so timeless, and they're very fun to watch. Mission Impossible movies are so fun to watch, and I even have all 8 Mission Impossible movies on Fandango at home and the Apple TV app. And the Mission Impossible movies are so epic. They're very memorable. They're very timeless. They're very iconic. They're so immersive. The Mission Impossible movies are so different than other action films. Give me a second. The Mission Impossible movies are so different and so unique, and they stand out and sets it apart from every other action adventure film that uses a lot of CGI. Like, even though the Fast and Furious movies are some of my favorite movies, they can be have CGI heavy. Even Transformers is one of my top favorite movies, but they use too much CGI. It's still a good CGI. Even even the Hunger Games has some really good CGI, but the action scenes are good. Mission Impossible is better. Mission Impossible is so amazing, and it is so breathtaking, mind blowing. It's so cool. The Mission Impossible movies, all 8 movies, are extremely cool and fun. They're very entertaining. I love the action scenes. They're very fun to watch, and they're most of the action scenes in the Mission Impossible films are mostly done with a lot of practical effects. Tom Cruise does a lot of his own stunts in most of the action scenes. There's no stunt doubles, no blue screen, no green screen, no CGI. They're so cool and freaking amazing. It's like they're very entertaining. They're so timeless. And the Mission Impossible movies about secret agents trying to stop terrorists or criminals from destroying the whole world and humanity. That's a very amazing, iconic, fun, immersive, and enjoyable, exciting concept, premise, idea. I love the themes of the franchise. It's about good versus evil, and the Mission Impossible movies had some of the best villains, best heroes. It had really good world building. The Mission Impossible movies have very good world building. It had very good, great set pieces. It's so unique, and the Mission Impossible movies are so powerful. I love Christopher McQuarrie. He's one of my top favorite directors, and my favorite, and I love four of Christopher McQuarrie's Mission Impossible movies. They're very well made. They're well shot. They're well choreographed, and there's not. And the Mission Impossible movies are so cool. I love the theme song from that movie, and the Mission Impossible movies are so good. They're so amazing. They're freaking awesome, and the stunts are so powerful. I love the sound design of those movies. I love the themes. I love the color palette. They're so amazing. Those are so cool. You don't want to see action adventure movies where there's bad shaky cam and fast quick cut ending, as seen in Olivia Megaton's action movies. You don't want to see action movies where they use too much CGI. That's why Fast and Furious 10 was so bad, because there's too much CGI effects and too much fake action compared to the first 9 Fast and Furious movies. And Mile 22 had some of the worst film action scenes ever put to cinema. And The Expendables 3 and 4 also had very bad action scenes because there's too much CGI, shaky cam, but transported. Oh, but Mission Impossible doesn't use a lot of shaky cam, but except Mission Impossible 3. Mission Impossible 3 used good shaky cam for most of its action scenes. But in the Mission Impossible movies, Tom Cruise does his own stunts in most of the Mission Impossible action scenes. They're so fun to watch. They're so immersive. They're very dangerous. They're very death-defying. It's so amazing. It's like it takes action movies to another level. That Mission Impossible is so timeless classics. I mean, the Mission Impossible movies are timeless classics, and the Mission Impossible movies are so fun and appealing. They're so they're so they're some and they're so power and they're so immersive. They have some of the best filmmaking. Well, the Mission Impossible films are timeless, underrated masterpieces. All 8 Mission Impossible movies are timeless, classic, high quality, underrated masterpieces. The Mission Impossible movies are so successful, they've grossed billions and billions of dollars around the world. The Mission Impossible movies have a very positive, great reception among critics and audiences and fans. The Mission Impossible movies have always been king of the hill in terms of critics, fans, audiences, in the box office. All 8 Mission Impossible movies and the entire Mission Impossible film franchise will always be king of the hill in terms of critics, fans, audiences, or the box office. They're so popular with many audiences and fans, man, and they're so breathtaking. Mission Impossible is so cool. I'm a huge, massive, enormous, diehard fan of the Mission Impossible movies. They're so epic. They're so well made. All 8 Mission Impossible movies are so well made. They use a lot of practical effects without CGI, green screen, or stunt double. Tom Cruise frequently does his own stunts in all those movies. It has really good practical effects, and the Mission Impossible movies have great chemistry between the heroes, and the it has really great villains. It's got a really great cast. The Mission Impossible movies had a very great cast from the likes of Tom Cruise and Simon Pegg and Rebecca Ferguson. Those are really good actors that I like, but Tom Cruise is one of my favorites. And then the Mission Impossible movies are so timeless. They're so high quality that if you love action adventure movies where protagonists have to save the world and save millions of lives and take down their enemies, then you'll love the Mission Impossible movies. The Mission Impossible movies will always be 8 of my top most Desert Island all-time favorite movies. And Mission Impossible is the Mission Impossible movie series is so epic, it's so timeless, it's so amazing that it has great stories, it has great premise, it has very great set pieces. It has great lighting. The Mission Impossible movies have very great lighting. It's got really great direction in all 8 movies. It's got a very great musical score. That Mission Impossible is so epic and so amazing and it's Mission Impossible is one of the very best, coolest, and most fun film series of all time. Bye. See you next time.